All right, Shalom Israel, Peace and Officer Matt Kwaya. Coming to you live out in Trinidad. We are the I.S.U.P.K, which started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. We teach that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are of the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. Tonight is Wednesday. All right, tonight is the Wednesday night law class. So, okay, just give me a few minutes. Let me make sure the YouTube up and running. Right. Yeah, today is the Wednesday night law class, where we come and teach the laws of the Most High, because this is very important for our nation, for the nation of Israel, for our people, especially in this time. Right? Basically, it is very important that we come back to what the Most High gave us. You understand? To become that separate people that the Most High wanted for us. You understand? To become that separate nation. And how we do become that separate nation, that separate people, is by coming back to the laws, commandments, and statutes that the Most High gave to us. You understand? When we keep these laws, we will come into the perfection. You understand? As Christ said in scriptures, be perfect, we will become into perfection of how the Most High wants us to be, and also by us doing these laws, we show the Most High, you understand, that we don't want to be in these conditions that we're in. You understand? Of course, the conditions we're in is brothers selling drugs to each other, you understand? Committing adultery, eating all these unlawful foods that the Most High told us not to eat, you understand? Celebrating these holidays, we keep these laws, we show in the Most High. We don't want to be partakers of these sins, you understand? Of these sins, and we don't want to do things, you understand, to be continually oppressed, you understand? We don't want to be following the ways of the heathen. You understand? When we keep these laws, commandments, and statutes. Of course, we have classes here throughout the week. We have classes Monday to Friday. You understand? Monday we have the history class. On Tuesdays we have classes on brotherhood and sisterhood. Of course, Wednesday is the law. Thursday we have no classes here in Trinidad Thursday. You understand? But we're doing a little upgrade to the system whereby we will be able to stream classes from headquarters. You understand? Out here in Trinidad, but also you could subscribe to all I.S.U.P.K classes on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You understand? We have the Lasha 1 Kodash on Friday and the Hebrew class on Saturday. Right? Also too, we have the scripture breakdown class with our camp leader, Officer Galawan. That is on Sunday. You could come in, ask your questions, text your questions. You understand? If you want to reach out to the school, the information is on the Facebook page, whereby you could call the camp leader, Officer Galawan, and his number, or email the school. You understand? And these responses will be back to you in a very timely manner. You understand? These classes is geared up to make our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, understand what they need to do to come out of the grip of the oppressors. You understand? What they need to do to be in right standing with the Most High. Most importantly. You understand? These classes is for us to understand why we are in the condition we're in as black people. You understand? Because there's the thing that most people like to say. Most people like to say, why black people in these conditions? You understand? What happened to black people when they're seeing us committing crimes, being shot down in the streets? You understand? By the hands of our oppressors, when they're seeing the oppressors dealing with us, for example, being last hired, first fired. You understand? When we see all these things, we ask the question, what happened to black people? You understand? Nobody could give the answers. None of our religious leaders, you understand, or politicians, or those in high seats cannot give the answers. You understand? But here in the I.S.U.P.K. under commanding General Yahanna, we are out here to teach our people. We are out here to bring the truth according to the scriptures, according to what the Most High intended for our people to hear, to learn, and to understand. You understand? We bring the truth of what we need to do to start cleaning up ourselves and help building our nation as a people. Because what most of us don't understand, we as a people, we are a nation, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We were scattered through the four corners of the earth for not listening to the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. You understand? The Lord said if we had listened to his laws, his commandments, and his statutes, that we would be high above all nations upon the face of the earth. You understand? We were supposed to be the rulers of the earth, the governing body. We was the ones to put righteousness across the face of the earth, whereby these other nations were supposed to follow. You understand? And not the other way around, whereby we are the bottom of society and we are following after every custom of every nation upon the face of the earth. You understand? When that is not supposed to be so, that is not what was intended by the Most High. The Most High wants us to be a separate people, a holy people. He wants us to be above all nations. Of course, when you go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, you understand? You will see in verse 1 when the Most High said, keep his laws, we're going to be blessed. You understand? And verse 15 showing you from there on to the end of 64, I think it's 64 or 68, if I'm correct. The Most High is showing us what will happen when we don't keep his laws. And when we look at us as a people, we're seeing that we have not and did not keep the Most High laws. That is what brought us to the bottom. That is what brought us in this condition that we're in. You understand? With years of Christianity and foolish teachings of the other nations, many people believe that you can just pick up a Bible and read, when that is not so. You can't just pick up a Bible, you understand, or just go in the Christian church, sit down, read the Bible, and feel that it gets you. You understand? You can't just pick up a Bible and feel that some match is going to happen, and you're going to understand things, and now you can start going out and teaching people. That is not so. You understand? That is not so at all. You can't just automatically take up a Bible and turn right. You understand? But what is important for you to know, you understand, is that it must be taught, and it must be taught by men of the Most High. You understand? Of course, these classes also too is where you'll understand how to rightly follow after the Most High. You understand? And Christ our King, Yahweh, who we call Jesus Christ in the Hebrew. Who we call Jesus Christ in the English, Salakia, and Yahweh in the Hebrew. You understand? Of course, just like any apprentice has to follow a teacher, you understand? In the things that he's being taught, we coming into the truth must be taught. We coming into this truth and knowledge of the I.S.U.P.K, we must be taught by teachers, just like as I was just saying, you know, you might have, you might have doctors, mechanics, carpenters, and young apprentices coming, have to learn from the ones that is more, how we should say, more learned, you understand, in the field that they're in, you understand? So we coming into the truth, we must be taught. And then one day, we will be able to go out and teach men, and these men that we teach, they will learn, and they now will be able to go back and teach other men after them, you understand? And so on and so on. Of course, the Bible is an instruction manual for you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to become a master in righteousness and obedience. That is very, very important for our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Of course, when you look at going back to what I was saying just a little earlier, when you look at a black doctor, a young doctor, or a lawyer, mechanic, carpenter, you understand? They don't just pick up a book and start to read and just go out and start to fix people's car, for example, a mechanic. You just pick up a book and read and just start to say, well, all right, I understand how our engine is function. You understand? And put up a sign, cars fixing here, and they just go and bust people in bonnet and start to fix car. You don't just read a book, you understand? And you walk in the hospital and say, all right, I know how to do open heart surgery. You understand? And start going and tearing up people's chest and doing what you want inside it. That is not so. You must be taught. Even when after you've been taught, you understand, you have to go out on the field, and then now you will be able to try small things. You understand? You'll be tasked with small things, and after that now you'll be move on to bigger things. You understand? You'll be tasked with small things. For example, like you're a mechanic, you might say, well, take down an oil filter. You understand? change this hose. You understand what I'm saying? You come into the truth, we know that you have to start to drop what you learn in the world. You understand? So you might start with small things. You might start by just not eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. You understand? You might start with that. Then you might, after you master that or conquer that, you try your best now to start drop off weight. You understand? And all these different things, and you start applying what the Most High gave to his people. You understand? What he gave to his people to keep, to follow, you understand, and to teach other brothers and sisters in righteousness. You understand? Again, the Bible is for particular people, a holy people. No other race upon the face of the earth cannot come and teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But that, Officer Shah, give me Deuteronomy chapter 19, we will start at verse 18. You understand? No other nation upon the face of the earth, may it be Edom, which is the so-called white man, Elam, which is the East Indians, you understand? Moab, Ammon, which is the Chinese, and of course we will touch on them a little bit more going down into the class, you understand? These people cannot come and teach you your records. They cannot come and teach you your history. You understand? As a people, the Most High told us something, which we have to pay close attention to. You understand? Give me what you have there, Sasha?
Deuteronomy 19.
Yeah, give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19. Right? Chapter 19, we will start at verse 18.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19 and verse 18.
That's not hold on, I'll make sure with you. Boom, boom. 19 and verse 18. That's not hold on. Just hold 1 minute, feel I have the wrong thing right here. Hold on. Give me the book of Acts chapter 3 and verse 22. So like here about that. So like here. Hold on, Make sure it's the right thing first. That's my bad, Officer Shah.
No, see.
Hold on. Give me back. You can use the Acts 2 number. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 18. Right? Start at 18. So left here.
Chapter 18.
Yeah. He made from chapter 18. Because of course, as I was just saying earlier on, you understand, these other nations, they cannot come and teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their history, their records. You understand? Because of course, if you didn't know, the Bible is a black man's book. The Bible is for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and is scattered through the four corners of the earth. They are the true Jews. They are the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. You understand? And these are the people that Christ gave his laws, commandments, and statutes to follow. These are the people that Christ came for. These are the people that Christ, upon his second return, is going to come for. His people who are under the hands of the oppressors. But of course, these other nations, they don't have the authority to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the Bible, right? So with that, go ahead, Officer Shah.
Verse 1?
Verse 18. Chapter 18, verse 18.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 18. I will raise up them. Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 18. I will raise up them up.
That's not. Take it slow. I feel they're missing something right here. Take it slow.
Right.
Go ahead.
I will raise them up.
Right.
A prophet from among their brethren.
You understand? So the Most High is letting you know that he's going to raise up from among his brethren, meaning from among blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead. Where he's going to raise up?
Raise up a prophet among their brethren.
You're right. He's going to raise up a prophet from among their brethren. Go ahead.
like unto thee.
Like unto who?
Like unto thee.
Like unto thee. Go ahead.
And will put my words in his mouth.
You understand? The Most High is saying that he is going to put his words in that prophet's mouth. He is not going to, that prophet is not going to get raised up and do what he please. He's not going to speak things that is on his mind. You understand? He's not going to interpret things in the law of Moses that he feel should be done or he think is right. You understand? The Most High say that he's going to put his words in his mouth. Go ahead.
And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
And he's going to speak unto the children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, all that the Most High is commanded. You understand? He's not going to do his own thing. He's going to do what the Lord tell him to do. You understand what I'm saying? This here is the Most High raising up a prophet for Israel. You understand? And he's going to, and the Lord himself is going to put words in that prophet's mouth for him to speak. That prophet is not going to do his own thing. Like how the Christian church saying that have prophet this and prophet that, and they choose to interpret things how they choose to interpret it. How to say things, they say things how they feel. You understand? Or go off of some book that somebody read. You understand? Go ahead. Verse 19.
Verse 19. And it shall come to pass
Go ahead.
that whatsoever will not hearken unto my word,
That whosoever, go ahead,
which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
you understand? And say, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken, whosoever will not listen to the words of the Most High, you understand? So when the Most High say, don't eat this, or don't do that, or don't commit adultery, don't smoke weed, you understand what I'm saying? Who will not hearken to the words of the Most High. Go ahead.
Unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him.
You understand? The Most High is saying he's going to do what? He's going to require it from that person who will not hearken to his words. You understand? So of course, as we were saying earlier, these classes is geared up for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be in right standing with the Most High. To come back and listen to his words, to hearken to his words. You understand? To come back keeping the laws. Give me Matthew chapter 5 and verse 48. You understand? To come back keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. You understand? Because Christ commands us to do something, which is very important for us to understand. You understand? And with plenty Christian movies and Christian shows and philosophies of these other nations that love to teach the Bible, that love to teach the records of another people, you understand? That love to teach this Bible to even our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They don't understand what they're reading. You understand? Christ commanded us to do something. Give me Officer Shah.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 48. Be you therefore perfect.
What Christ commanded us to do?
Be you therefore perfect.
Christ commanded blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be perfect. You understand? And when these other nations see this and they read this to you, they say, no man is perfect. No man can be perfect. You understand? And when they talk about Christ was born immaculately, that throws off everything. You understand? Showing you that you have to be a God to be perfect, or you have to be an angel to be perfect. But Christ is telling us as a people, as a nation, to be therefore perfect. You understand? This is the command that Christ gave to us. This is the command that Christ gave brothers and sisters, and this is something that we should strive for, to be perfect. You understand? This is something every brother and sister could do. You understand? If we really dedicate ourselves to really learning the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, and how to master righteousness, we could be perfect. Because Christ himself said it from his own mouth, be ye therefore perfect. You understand? And when you're talking about the 144,000, this is what the 144,000 will entail. They will be perfect. They will be perfect in the eyes of the Most High. You understand? Of course, the 144,000 will be the governing body of Israel. This does not include all nations, because of course the other nations, they was not given the laws, commandments, and statutes to follow. We were the ones to put all the other nations in order. You understand? We have sinned against the Most High. We fell, and now we are under the hands of every nation. We are captives in the hands of every nation. You understand? Right up to today, we are still in captivity. You understand? We are under the foot, most predominantly, we are under the foot of the Elamites in Trinidad here, which is the so-called East Indians. You You understand? But most predominantly we are under the oppressor, the so-called devil the Bible speaks of. You understand? The oppressor the Bible speaks of, which is the so-called white man, Esau, according to the Bible. You understand? Who is the deceiver, the oppressor the Bible speaks of. You understand? In this Bible, there are laws on how to treat a slave. You understand? And we who are under oppression, we was not treated right by the oppressors above us. You understand? When you really sit down and think about it, we being in captivity, we are under captivity under nations or under a nation that have no laws. You understand? They have no laws and no rules to govern how one should govern if you have a slave. In Israel, we have laws on how a slave should be treated. You understand? In this Bible, in this Bible, if you have a slave, there are ways how we should treat this slave. You understand what I'm saying here? But we fell into the hands of people who had no laws. And they did not treat us right. They did not treat blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the way that we're supposed to be treated according to the law that is in this Bible. You understand what I'm saying? Give me Deuteronomy chapter 24. Give me 24 and 14. Right? We jump to 24 and 14. That's not wrong. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy.
That is what?
That is poor and needy. Whether he be of thy brethren or of thy stranger.
You understand? So one that have a hired servant, they shouldn't oppress them. That is poor and needy. Even if it's from your brethren or a stranger. You understand? And we have many other laws in the scriptures, in our Bible, that will show you how one should treat a servant or a slave. You understand? But we was not treated right under the hands of these people. You understand what I'm saying? That is why we always go out in the streets. We tell brothers and sisters, hey, we need to come back to keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. You understand? Because servitude, having a slave, and knowing how to treat a slave or treat a servant, that is just one thing. You understand? But there are many other laws that we need to know and that we need to keep as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? But coming back to what it is I was saying, the reason why I touch on this is because the Most High say, be therefore perfect. And learning the laws of the Most High, learning what you need to do as we go along, that will bring us into the perfection. You understand? As I was saying before, the other nations, they have us in captivity, and we being under their rulership, they don't have laws that will govern us, that will help us or will aid in our captivity. That ain't going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't going to happen because we're under the hands of people that have no laws. You understand? So we experience, from back then till now, we experience cruel and harsh. You understand? Cruel and harsh things done to us by the other nations, and the Most High definitely he didn't take that light, or he ain't taken that light. You understand? Because as I was just reading, we have laws that we're supposed to know how to treat a slave. You understand? The captivity in Egypt is no different than the captivity here in the Americas. You understand? Or in the Caribbean is no difference. You understand? But of course, when we go into the kingdom, in our kingdom, when everything's set up, you understand? Other people are going to be our slaves. These other nations, they are going to be our slaves. You understand? But or I should put it, don't think of it like how the white man had us in captivity. You understand what I'm saying? Don't think about like how he had us in captivity. You understand? That slavery that they're going to be under is going to be different. You understand? It is going to be different. We're going to go into that a little bit more as we go down. You understand? But don't think of that captivity as how the white man had us in captivity with raping and hanging and beating the flesh off our slaves' back and so forth. You understand? It ain't going to be so. You You understand? Most I tell us, be therefore perfect as your Father is perfect. We will get to that, right? Give me Matthew 5 and 5. To what? Matthew chapter 5 and verse 5.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 5. Blessed are the meek.
Blessed are the what?
Blessed are the meek.
What does meek mean? When Christ said, blessed are the meek. That's not right. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 5. Alright. You understand? What does meek mean? Go ahead and read the full verse.
For they shall inherit the earth.
You understand? So Christ is saying, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. You understand? What does the meek mean? Yeah, if everybody can answer. If everyone. Yeah, no one read it.
Like the ones on them who hear it and who humble themselves and who humble themselves and go against the like a lot of things, like who humble, they hear the word, right? They obey the laws of the Most High, the hardy, the brother, the sister, they have the endurance to
close state.
To go along
with life, understand?
To serve the Most High.
But your close state, that's not much something, because when Christ saying, blessed are the meek, right? That's not right. I can take it right here. Remember, if you go back up to verse 1, you see where Christ was on the mountains, you understand? Sat with his disciples and to teach them. You understand? Blessed are the poor in spirit, whoever coming on. When you say blessed are the meek, you understand? I think about it more of a nation perspective. You understand? What does it mean to be meek? Because remember, you're talking to us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Remember, you're talking to Israel. You understand? So it means to be meek. What Christ is saying is blessed be the meek, meaning you have no power. Meaning you have no military power, no military might. You understand? You is the one being shut down in the streets. You is the one under the hands of all the oppressors. You have no power. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you understand? We are the ones that are weak to the other nations. You understand? But when you really sit down and think about it, we as a nation right now, we have nothing. What we have that could really bring us out of the condition that we're in, more than the Most High. You understand? What Christ is saying here, Christ is saying, blessed are the meek, but they're going to inherit you. You understand? So Christ is letting us know, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you is the ones that are powerless, you is the ones who is going to inherit you. You understand? And when Christ is saying that, what does that say about the people that are strong and mighty? You understand? If he's saying, blessed be the meek, blessed be the ones, blessed be Israel that have no power, no might, no strength, they can't do nothing. You understand? That alone, you know, it will have more powerful people. You understand what I'm saying? It will have people over you. So when Christ saying, blessed be the meek, that letting you know what about the strong men. That letting you know what would happen to the strong nation. Go ahead, if you could. If you could, go ahead.
They'll go fall.
Exactly so. You understand what I'm saying? So when he's saying blessed are the meek, you understand? Blessed are the powerless, for they shall inherit the earth. These is what, how you go put it? These words are encouragements for people that are weak. You understand what I'm saying here? For people who have no power, no might. And that letting you know about the strong men, you understand? That one day they are going to be weak. You understand? This is the message that Christ was carrying across when he was speaking to the disciples. You understand? Letting them know one day the roles is going to change. Blessed be the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. letting you know those people that are in power, those people that have some form of authority, things going to change. You understand what I'm saying? Things definitely going to change. You understand? Or in other words, you could put it like I wouldn't say a threat, but it's like letting the people in power know one day all they're going to fall. You understand? One day that power you have, it's going to change. It's going to be given to another people. You understand what I'm saying? So when we go out on the street and we see the other nations getting on mad, you understand? Or laws changing here and there because they're hearing these things coming out. They know one day they're going to lose the power. They know one day these things going to come to pass because they know history. You understand what I'm saying? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they don't. Use the one who don't know history. Use the ones who don't know what happened after what happened before slavery. You understand? These other nations, they know history. You understand? They know the worst thing that is to make enslaved people feel powerful is to give them hope. You understand? It's to give them hope. And that when Christ was saying, blessed be the meek, he was giving our people hope. You understand? That one day things going to change. You're not going to stay in the same condition. You understand? So coming back to what we were initially saying, be ye therefore perfect. If we really come back keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, the rules is going to reverse. You understand? We was the ones who was meek, who was powerless. You understand? The rules going to change. We're going to be above all people like how Christ tells us to be. That's not all I thought. You understand? And the other nations is going to be at the bottom. You understand? As I was saying earlier on, the other nations know that once you could give oppressed people hope. You understand? They know that danger. You understand? They know that danger. And when we go out on the streets, as I was saying, and we speak to all people, telling them, hey, change, don't commit adultery, stop smoke weed. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High want to be above all nations. We giving our people that hope. The Most High coming back for our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? We are the Lord's chosen. All our people who are oppressed under the hands of these oppressors, no matter which party is, you're going to get that form of hope. You're going to feel empowered. You understand? Even though you have nothing, even though as a nation, your whole nation have nothing. You understand? You're going to be empowered. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? We the ones giving hope to our people who are weak when we go out on the streets every day, when we keep these classes. You understand? For example, I just saying this for example. When we look at a strike, for example, remember what you were saying, eh?
Yeah, right.
When we look at a strike, for example, you understand? And people striking for better conditions or better wages, you understand? Better health care, better PPE, or whatever the case might be. When you look at that strike, you understand? The people or the persons who will be heading that strike, giving what? Giving strength to the people who are weak. You understand? And of course, through history, these other nations know that when these things happen, these things could do what? Cause a revolution. You understand what I'm saying? So when we out on the streets and they see we giving our people who weak, who can't speak out, who don't have the belly, as we go say, to go outside and do that. When belly is a weak word to use, it's not belly I will say. You understand what I'm saying? Who really don't want to serve the Most High in righteousness and go out and help raise or wake up other brothers and sisters. You understand what I'm saying? We being the voice for them. These other nations know that over time, something going to happen. You understand? A revolution going to happen. And of course, we're not going to pick up guns and arms and start running down these other nations and putting bullets to the heads and to the children, or whatever the case might be. You understand? What we have to do is that people come back keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High and do what? Wait on the Most High for us to make a second return. You understand what I'm saying? And the Most High showing how I should put it. We see the signs. You understand? Wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilence, plagues. We see the signs. You understand? So we know our power is a real power and a living power. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, and that's why when I was coming back with the like knowing them, the other nations, them knowing history, like so that's like how the corona, right? So them like they know like all the other plague, like all them other plagues and all the other pandemic and recommend will take place. They have like a time span really to know like, hey, this is the time, this was a time period, this thing will be. So like when the corona thing and all too, in the early stage, them actually kind of say, hey, this thing gonna be all into 2021, going into 22, and all them things. And then after the showing, like how the economy, how it go mash up the economy, and they showing like, oh, what they say again, they don't watch already, and they say, oh, the people with all them part, them don't see now, this time how the money going on, how the money going on drop.
Of course.
And study, all that and thing, wait, come on, years, this going on, take a good while yet, till it might be clear back out.
Yeah. So you're correct in what you're saying there. You understand what I'm saying? And one thing we have to always remember too is that these heathens and them, they're trying or they try to track the Most High, or they can't track the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? They're trying to track when he coming. They're trying to track how long this going to happen for. They're trying to, you understand what I'm saying? But when you really sit down and check it out, they can't track the Most High. They can't predict the Most High. You understand? Even when Christ making his second return, Israelites cannot predict or know when Christ coming on the exact day and the hour. Because he for himself said, no man don't know. No man nor the angel, only the Most High in heaven. You understand what I'm saying? So they could do what they want. You understand? What we have to do as a people, we have to do what the Most High tell us to do, which is to come back keeping his laws, commandments, and statutes, which is to come back and try our best day after day, time after time, to be perfect. You understand what I'm saying? It wouldn't happen in one shot. They wouldn't just leave the world and come into the truth, drop smoking, drop crab, shrimp, pork, and lobster. It didn't go happen so. You understand? That is why we even say in our security announcements, we need to do what? Shed ourselves from the world. You understand what I'm saying? Bit by bit, we will be getting there. Bit by bit, we move forward. Give me verse 6.
Verse 6. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled.
You understand? So Christ is saying, blessed are they, you understand, which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. You understand? Blessed will be you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who thirst for a place of righteousness. You understand? Who hunger and thirst for righteousness, who want to see right being done in the earth, who want to see right being done among our people. You understand what I'm saying here? Who sigh and cry for the abominations of this world. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst for righteousness. Give me Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. You understand? Because what we have to understand, when Christ saying, blessed be those that hunger and thirst for righteousness, you have to have a special, not special the word I want to use. You have to want to see right among your people, among your nation. You understand? And you had a hunger and a thirst to see that right thing happen. You understand? Not continually see people in strip clubs and selling drugs. You understand what I'm saying? Being sheltered. The other nations, like these young Venezuelan girls coming in and being given in the hands of the other nations, the Chinese, for prostitutes at age 12, 13, and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? You can't see that and be comfortable. You understand? You have to thirst. You have to be hungry and thirst after righteousness, to see the right things happen to your people, to see righteousness reign on the earth and not evil, because these other nations without they knowing these laws, because of course it's going to come the point in time where they are going to be governed under these laws, commandments, and statutes. But we need to get right first as a people. You understand? We need to get right first in the sight of the Most High. Give me Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4.
Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Most High said unto him, go through the midst of the city.
Go through where?
Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the forehead.
And set what?
And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that
sigh,
and cry for all the abomination that's done.
So the Most High is given this command, saying, go to the midst of the city and put a mark on the heads, on the foreheads, and the men that sigh and cry for the abominations. You understand? And this is what Christ is saying here. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Put a mark on them. You understand? That sigh and cry for the abomination. You want to see righteousness. You don't want to see all these evils that happening to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You don't want to see that. You understand? Go ahead.
All the abomination that be done in the midst of thereof.
And all the what?
And all the abomination
and
that
all the unrighteousness that's being done thereof. Go ahead.
In the midst thereof.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. Verse 5. And to the others he said.
And to the what?
And to the others, in my hearing, go you after him through the city.
Go you after who?
And go you after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have you pity.
You understand? Go through the city and smite. Let not the ears, yes, read over that part again.
Let not your eyes spare, neither have you pity.
Go ahead.
Verse 6. Slay utterly old and young.
You understand? Slay utterly old and young. Why slay utterly old and young? Because they like what they're seeing. You understand? They like seeing Venezuelans getting being found in the back of Chinese businesses. You understand? They like when brothers and sisters commit adultery and commit abortion. They like them things. You understand? They like to see brothers selling each other drugs. This is what they like to see. They're not sighing and crying for righteousness. They don't want righteousness to actually reign upon the face of the earth. You understand? Where you wouldn't be seeing, when you wake up in the morning and you wouldn't be seeing drugs being sold to your brothers by a neighbor. You understand? When you wouldn't be seeing no more strip clubs. When you wouldn't be seeing sisters being brought from other countries looking for a better life and ending up in brothels to be sex slaves. They don't want to see that. You understand? But Christ saying what? Blessed are they that hunger and thirst after righteousness. Because why? When brothers go out and start to learn about the truth according to the scriptures, they will start teaching men to do so. And Christ even commanded that. You understand? We will get to that in the book of Matthew just now. Christ said, blessed are those that teach men, that do the law and teach men also. You understand what I'm saying? This is how important it is. This is how serious keeping the laws. Anybody going against the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, you like what you're seeing, or you're just a heathen. You understand? You like what you see when you look around and seeing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians hang up all over the place, or in the conditions that they're in the ghettos, shooting up one another, or for a song. You understand what I'm showing you? Shooting up one another for a 5-piece, a 10-piece, or a little nickel bag. You like what you're seeing. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody going against the Most High laws, they like what they're seeing. They don't want righteousness. You understand? I see another arm of Sasha, right?
That's some.
Go ahead, let me see if you continue on that day of that, is it?
Read it over?
Yeah, you can read it over.
Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
But do what?
But come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
You understand? So don't come among any man who the angel put the mark on, that sighing and crying after righteousness. And these is the things that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians really have to go forward to, or try the best, you understand, to be in right standing with the Most High. You understand? This is what us in the I.S.U.P.K is all about. Us keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. You understand? Because the people out in the world who don't sigh and cry after righteousness, and these heathens, they're having a good time. They like how the world running. But what they realize is that that world is coming to an end. You understand? Babylon the Great is falling in the eyes and in the sight of everybody. And some people seeing it, and some people just can't see it. You understand? Of course, there are atrocities being done in every nation upon the face of the earth. You understand? But the Lord The Lord really care about Israel. The Lord really care about these other nations. The Lord care about Israel. You understand? And their righteousness, because we're the ones that He's given the laws, commandments, and statutes to follow. You understand? We was the ones who were supposed to be ruling the earth. And of course, the earth is going to be ruled under righteousness when Christ makes His second return. You understand? So it won't have no drug dealers, it won't have no pimps, it won't have no hustlers, and all these different things. You understand? I think we know how these things is going to be ruled under righteousness, and these other nations, they're going to follow. They're going to have to follow. You understand what I'm saying? Give me Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. Tawala. Yeah, chapter 14 and verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob.
For the what?
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob. And will yet choose Israel.
You understand? So the Lord, He is going to have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. You didn't hear nothing about no other nations. You didn't hear nothing about the Chinese, the Japanese, the East Indians, the Syrians, the Arabs, the white man. You didn't hear nothing about that. The Lord said that He's going to have mercy upon Jacob. And do what? And yet what? Right to this time.
And will yet choose Israel.
And He will yet choose Israel. Now think about this for a little minute, right? Why does the Most High, why does it say the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel? Think about it for a little while. You understand? Because of course we know Jacob's name was changed to Israel, right? Correct, right?
Yeah.
But why I think you just see this, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. If Jacob's name was changed to Israel, why you don't just say Israel alone?
So like I said, when at the time, right? This was just Jacob, right? But now all his loins, right? All his loins, so now his children started to make thing now. So now from Jacob now he formed the nation of Israel.
No, you're correct with what you're saying. You understand what I'm saying? But think about it in this verse and in this context here. When the Lord say He will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. Because remember, you think about it like, remember the Bible is a black man's book. That ways they were talk, things they will say, slang they will use. You understand what I'm saying? And if we don't understand that, we'll be lost. I'm not saying you understand, but generally speaking, if people see them things, they'll be lost and not understanding what it means. You understand what I'm saying?
Or it's like from the top, right? Like, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So, like when you check it, like on the both side, right? So like, say like when coming to the point, like say you go and punishment and thing, I say what the punishment now and thing.
Nah, stop it. I will stop it one time. But the first one was much more closer. You understand? Because it's like saying if Jacob and Israel is the same thing, you will have mercy on Jacob and you choose Israel. You understand what I'm saying? But what we just call people in the world? Well, our people in the world.
Sinners.
No. Think about it again, Jacob. When you're not sure about how I should put it, boy. You know, sometimes you're out and you're blind and you say, where is he? Where is our? When you're not sure what you're learning, where you go say, he's our? Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is somebody out in the world, you call him Jake. You understand? So it's like that. So when they say the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, the Most High, He's going to have mercy on the people out in the world. You understand? Just like how we was once out in the world, and the Most High had mercy on us, and yet choose Israel. You understand? When you say Israel, is brothers and sisters that, of course, come into the truth. You understand? So He's going to have mercy on Jacob, people out in the world, and yet choose Israel. That is why when you read book it is, but when he's saying all Israel will be saved. I forget what book it is, but just paraphrasing. You understand? So when he say the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, he's going to have mercy on them outside there because, of course, they're doing wrong things. You understand? We was once outside there doing wrong things, and he had mercy upon us. And yet choose Israel. You understand, brothers and sisters, that fight to come into the truth, leave off things off of the world, stop smoking weed, stop eating pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Those who come into adultery, they stop that. Whoremongering, they stop that. You understand? Who's drug dealers, they stop that. You understand? And he will yet choose Israel. You understand? It's kind of like the Lord saying he ain't go forget our brothers and sisters out in the world. He will have mercy on them. I ain't forget them. You understand what I'm saying here? You understand? He ain't going to forget your brothers and sisters out in the world, opposed to them in the truth, meaning he ain't going to just deal with them not coming to the truth. You understand what I'm saying? You feel me, right?
Come.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand? So he will have mercy on Jacob. He wants out in the world and yet choose Israel, meaning he going to exalt the ones in the truth. You understand? But everybody, eventually, we all going to be living together. Israel and Jacob. You understand what I'm saying? One nation, one people. You understand what I'm saying? No difference. Because, of course, we're all brothers and sisters, right? Hold it right here before we continue and give me Psalms 147 and 19. All right? Psalms 147, verse 19.
Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
You sure it as well?
He showeth his word unto Jacob. His statutes and judgment unto Israel.
You understand? So you know you're seeing like it have a separation. He showed the word unto Jacob, his statutes and judgment unto Israel. But of course, in the kingdom, in our kingdom, we all going to be one people. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to have no Jake, or no anything so, whatever the case might be. You're going to be one people. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 20. He had not dealt so with any nation.
You understand? So the Lord chose his laws, commandments, and statutes unto Israel, unto Jacob, statutes and judgment unto Israel. The Most High didn't do that with other nations. You understand? This is one thing that we always and have to try to get in our head. The Most High didn't do that with other nations. So when he's saying other nations come in and try to teach you these laws or teach you this Bible, the Most High didn't deal with them so. You understand what I'm saying? Like one thing we have to keep in our head. This Bible is a black man's book. Despite what people say, whatever they might do, you have to know the course you own. You understand? And because these nations will come and make a sway from that. You understand? So in context, the Jacob and Israel is just people out in the world and people in the truth. You understand? Go ahead with where we was at in Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. You have this, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Just wanted to jump a little bit just to see that part now. Yeah, go ahead.
And Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
You can take it from the top, no sir.
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Right.
And set them in their own land.
And set them where?
And set them in their own land.
You understand? And we're going to be set in our own land. We ain't going to be scattered no more. You understand? We ain't going to be in all these other nations scattered for servants and handmaids. When Christ come, have mercy on Jacob and he has choose Israel, and he's going to set us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in our own land. The Most High is not about all these nations mixing up and this melting pot and Indian, Salakia, Elamites married in Israel and Israel married in Japanese and this color. The Most High against interracial marriage. The Most High against all these other nations being mixed up. You understand? We're going to do set us where? In our own land. Israel is going to have their own space. Go ahead.
And the stranger shall be joined with them.
And the what?
And the stranger shall be joined with them.
Go ahead.
And they shall cleave
And they
to
shall
the
what?
house of Jacob.
And they shall what?
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
You understand? And these other nations, they're going to cleave to the house of Jacob. Just like how, when you might see a mother going out and the child running and holding the foot. Because they wouldn't go, God, mommy, don't go, wherever daddy don't go. That is how the other nations going to be. They're going to cleave to the house of Jacob. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 2.
Why they're going to cleave to the house of Jacob? Because just like how they cleave to the so-called white man now, because things beneficial for them, you understand? They could follow all the customs, do the trade, do the whatever the case might be, beneficial for them to follow after the white man. Of course, when you go back and you read in the book of S.H.U.P.K, you will see whereby these other nations, whoever is ruling, that is who they're going to follow. You understand? That is who they're going to follow. But these other nations are going to know and understand the white man fall, the next ruling body is Israel. They don't know. Here's which part we have to hang on to. Here's which part we might have some life because the vine we was hanging on to, that burst. That rope cut. You understand? So they're going to cleave to the house of Israel. Go ahead.
Cleave to the house of Jacob. Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
And the what?
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
You understand? And the people is going to take them. Who is the people that's going to take them? The people that are going to take them is us, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We're going to take them and bring them to their place. And what is that place that we're going to bring them to?
The place that we bring them to?
Yeah. So we're going to take them and bring them to their place.
That will be every one of them back in the own land and under subjection under Israel.
You're right there. You understand? That place is wherever Christ wants them to go. So wherever Christ said the Japanese going, right there they go. You understand what I'm showing you? So if Christ say you want the nation of the Ammonites to be in point 14, that right there the boundaries. Everybody have to bundle up and be in point 14. You understand? But of course, we know everything will be in point 14. They're just saying, you know what I mean? Wherever Christ wants these other nations to be, that is where these other nations is going to be. You understand what I'm showing you? Right there we're going to put them. Go ahead.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
For what?
For servants and handmaids.
So, and we're going to possess these other nations for what? Servants and handmaids. They're going to be slave men and slave women. You understand? Go ahead.
And they shall take them captives. Who captives they were.
Because we was once captives to these other nations. So now we're going to take them captive. Go ahead.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And they shall what?
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
You understand? And that time is coming. So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Whether you follow the Most High or not, whether you come into the truth, whether you try your best to come and keep the laws, commandments, and statutes, that time is coming when we're going to rule over the other nation. You understand what I'm saying? We will be the ones ruling over the so-called Elamites, who's the East Indians right now. We're going to be ruling over them because, as we were saying earlier, when Christ had said, follow these laws, commandments, and statutes, and you will be above all nations upon the face of the earth. That is how it was supposed to be. So if we had followed it, we were going to be and was going to be ruling over these other nations. You understand? But we didn't follow it, so we didn't follow it, so we fell. But of course, when Christ returned, everything going to set back up in order. Go ahead, Officer Shep.
That was it.
Verse 2?
Yeah, that was the end.
Right, that is the end of that, right? Right, to what on that. So of course, again, you understand, that's all right. That is the end of verse 2 here, right?
Come.
Boom, 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 boom. Give me. Yes, no, hold on. Give me verse.
That's no way.
Yeah.
I think I read up to we are captive to yeah, I read.
That was the night?
Yeah, that was the night.
Sure. Because I feel give me from the top again, verse 2. You will take it on verse 2 again.
Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 2.
Right.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
You understand? So we will take them and bring them to wherever Christ tells us to put these people. You understand? To put these other nations. You understand? Go ahead.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids.
We're going to possess them in the land for servants and handmaids. You understand? Hold on. Let me get don't go yet. I might read it. Right? Now, to show that these other nations, how these other nations right. Go ahead and read off, Sasha.
And they shall take them captives, who captives they were.
You understand? So now, these other nations, we was once captive to them, we're going to take them captives. You understand? Right? That don't mean you'll be raping them and beating them till the skin fall off the back. You understand? You understand? That ain't going to happen to them. They're going to be raped and lynched and all this kind of madness. You understand? They're going to be in servitude to us. You understand? Of course, we're not going to be married to them. You understand? There will still be no interracial marriage because the law of the Most High still stands. You understand? But of course, if you have a heathen wife now, that is your wife. You still treat you like your wife. You understand what I'm saying? If you have a heathen husband, that is your husband because that is how it is now. You're not supposed to leave them because there's a heathen. That is your wife, that is your husband. You understand? And when we take them captives, every other nation that will be taken captive will be shown some form of mercy except the white man, right? Except Esau, the so-called white man. You understand? We're going to go into he's the only one that will be shown any form of mercy from the Most High. So whoever, mercy, let me go to the book of, no, not you, Sha? Yeah, Sha. Give me Obadiah chapter 1. You hold it at 1 and verse 8. You understand? Let me take it from this Zondervan here. Page 233. Esau will be the only one that won't be shown any form of mercy because the things that they had done to us as a people, you understand, in the eyes of the Most High, that wasn't supposed to be so. You know, just the other day I watching a documentary and it's saying, when a slave ship coming in the port, first that was jail. You understand? Just somewhere, 233. When a slave ship coming in the port, right? You know about the atrocities on the slave ships. Some of our people die. Well, not some. Millions of our people die in the sea alone. You understand what I'm saying? Then those who get thrown overboard, whose hands were chopped off from all these things that happening through the slave trade. It wasn't a smooth ride. It wasn't luxurious. We're talking about being packed up in these cargo ships like sardines in a tin. You understand? It's who vomiting on who peeing on who, defecating on who. You understand? When women see the menstrual, is what running on who, and all these different things, all kind of thing happening. I was watching a documentary the other day and I was saying when a cargo slave ship with slaves coming in to the port, right? To different ports, you could have smell it a mile away. You understand? Because it's everything happening on that ship. You understand? So when you get that particular smell, you don't know. You like sometimes you're out on the beach and you say, wait, but like the sea cleaning itself, boy. You're getting that smell, you know, it's turning up now, boy. When you're getting that smell, you know slaves coming in. You understand what I'm saying? Letting you know that ride was not a luxurious ride. That ride wasn't something nice. You understand? And the Most High, the things that was done to us by the so-called white man, the so-called oppressor, The Most High wasn't pleased with that at all, and he's not pleased with that at all. He know what they have done. You understand? So when I go to the book, when I go to the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary and I read about Edom, you understand? It's saying here, right? Edom figures predominantly in the prophetic scriptures as a great scene of great future judgments. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from the Most High. You understand? So Esau wasn't given any promise of mercy from the Most High. At least these still other nations might have some form of mercy or may have some form of mercy. But Esau, the so-called white man, he ain't going to have no mercy from the Most High. You understand? Give me Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8. Yeah, go ahead, Officer Shah.
And that's the thing I was talking about with the sentinel kind of thing, right? They say even when they are saying when the ships and them coming, right? They say the sharks and all would know like that, like the sentinel, like from all them the blood, like the blood sentinel was like, they say a lot of people dying, a lot of things were going on. So that sentinel mixing up and all this, you see like the sharks and all knowing
the knowing and the following the ship,
following the ships and all.
Go ahead. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8.
Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saying the Most High, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
You understand? And the Most High is saying, shall I not in that day, say the Most High, even Salakia, destroys the wise men out of Edom. So all the wise men out of Esau's kingdom, the Most High is going to destroy them. All the high-tech men and the so-called wise men. You understand? The Most High is going to destroy them. Go ahead.
And understanding out of the mount of Esau.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Timah, shall be dismayed to the end, that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
You understand? And every one of the mount of Esau should be cut off by slaughter. You understand? So what is that letting you know? That the so-called, one day the so-called white man or the so-called white people, they was. That is an easy way to put it. They was. You understand? They once was. You understand? They're going to be cut off by the Most High. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. That's not, hold on. Yeah, go ahead to verse 10.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
For the what?
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
You understand? So for the violence against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the violence that was done to them by this nation, by the oppressor, the deceiver, the things that he have done from way back till now, from since in the time with Esau and Jacob, the things that he have done from then till now, for the violence against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead.
For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
What shall cover thee?
Shame shall cover thee. And thou shalt be cut off forever.
And it's going to be what?
Be cut off forever.
You understand? And the so-called white man is going to be cut off forever. You understand? That is what's going to happen to the so-called oppressor, not the so-called Salakia, to the oppressor, the devil the Bible speaks of. They're going to be cut off forever for the violence, the things that they have done to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? For the devices that they plant on our people, for the things, the atrocities that have been done to our people. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to be cut off forever. They're the one that will have no form of mercy from the Most High. You understand? The so-called oppressor the Bible speaks of. You're going to say something?
So I can say, I want to check on all too, where the so-called white man or too, the atrocities that we are all. I want to check on even today nations and all too. There's no nation on the face of the earth like Edom.
Exactly.
And all.
You understand? Exactly so.
So
that's
like,
right.
them is already a plague. I think that they don't even have plague in their own animal.
Right now, the way how things going, like they can't trust the own. You understand? Because the kingdom falling, and when the kingdom falling, you can't trust nobody. You understand? When that kingdom falling, the so-called white man, is because they ain't trusting one another. You understand? If they was trusting one another, like for example, when Israel kingdom come on the Most High, of course, brothers going to have trust in one another, and that kingdom is going to run forever.
Okay.
You know, I know it's a man's schism, men and trust this one and who won't trust that one, and you understand? That's what happened in Israel kingdom. They reach the point right now they can't even trust one another. You understand? That's why the whole thing collapsing. Go ahead, officer.
I can't remember which one of the gun bills. If it's the Second Amendment gun bill, I think General Mahayman was bringing it out. The reason why they bring out the gun bill and have the gun bill, right, is because they have the frustration, right? For them, they bring out the gun bill so they can take the frustration out time. If they do have that and they didn't think now, they would have been killing out the own. Yeah, they'd have been killing out themselves. So they give them the guns to
free their mind.
Yeah, to free their mind and take out their frustration. And other than that, they would just be dealing with each other and all to anybody else. Yeah. So it's the focus on me.
You understand? You're correct way saying it. The focus in now, taking all the stress on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And if it didn't have guns, like it was back then it would have been lynching and dragging brothers and sisters, tying them to van and dragging them through the streets and all this kind of madness. You understand? And of course, it have different times when the general is bringing out with brothers still being lynched in places in America. You understand what I'm saying? Up to this day, still being lynched. You understand what I'm saying? Still. And when you see these things, these things supposed to force you or make you know, hey, let me get right with the Most High. Let me try my best to see if I could really fall in the right standing with the Most High. Christ said, be therefore perfect. Let me try to strive for that perfection. You understand what I'm saying? Little as it is. Let me start. You understand? Let me come out from the world. Let me start wearing all black as a trooper. You understand what I'm saying? Let me start shedding myself from the world. Because you should watch the condition that your people in now and still seeing these oppressors still trying to hang your people and nobody. Nah, let me try to get it right. Let me try and see if I could come and really help build back my nation, help build back my people. You understand what I'm saying? Help build back my kingdom. You understand? And not stepping away from what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about earlier about rape. You understand? Because that is in our law. You understand? Letting you know that we wouldn't be raping other nations in the kingdom. I don't know where these other people get that from. You understand? That's why the I.S.U.P.K is totally separate itself from all these Israelite groups. You understand? We separate. You understand? Because these Israelite groups teaching they could rape and all this kind of madness. But of course, that is in our law. And if Christ for himself say that he did not come to destroy the law of the prophets, how the hell these fake Israelites could say they could rape or we go in and rape? You understand what I'm saying? Eh? That ain't going to happen. When we take Israel nation captive, it's going to have no raping because of course rape is in our law. Give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 22 and 25. You understand? And when you read these scriptures, anytime you see anything dealing with consensual sex, you will understand that was not rape because the Most High totally is against rape. You understand? Give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 25.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel.
If a man find what?
A betrothed damsel.
So if a man find a betrothed damsel, meaning that she was promised to somebody, promised to a brother, go ahead.
In the field. And the man force her and lie with her.
So if man finds she, force she and lie with she, go ahead.
Then the man only that lay with her shall die.
You understand? So now forcing her is you having sex with her against her will. You understand what I'm saying here? Other ways of forcing, you understand? Forcing a young lady into having sex against her will is like pouring things in a drink. You understand? Getting she high way to the point where she don't know herself. Once she's not giving consent, that is rape, and the Most High is against that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Even if it's you and somebody went to have a drink with and you know this person from a long time and all these things and you pour some ways call them ways, I mean even know them thing, but put something in she drink, or you get see some kind of
Spanish fly.
Right, you understand? Or you get see some kind of way to smoke, something to get she high or whatever it is, for you to go and have sex with she without her consent. If it's somebody that they may know from a long time, that is rape. You understand? Once she not giving you sex by consent, you understand? Like she not agreeing to, once she agreed to having sex with you, of course that is not rape. But if she not agreeing with that and you force her, that is rape according to the scriptures. You understand what I'm saying? Take it from me up again, Sasha. Yeah, simple.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5. But if your man find a betrothed damsel in the field.
You understand? So you see her smally, you're up cheating. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And then the man force her and lie with her.
You understand? And then you force she to have sex with she. She didn't give her sex consent with consent. Go ahead.
Then the man only that lay with her shall die.
And then the man only that lay with her, he is supposed to be put to death. He is supposed to die. You understand? That is in the law of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is rape. You understand? And when people could say that the laws are God done away with, it's because you love to rape. You want to be a rapist. You like when sisters get raped. You like when brothers get raped. You understand what I'm saying here? You like that. That is why you're saying the laws are God done away with. You understand what I'm saying here? That is why when people saying the Bible is a fairy tale, it's because they like what's happening. They want to continually see brothers getting raped. They want to continually see drugs being sold. They want to continue seeing guns coming in by the containers. They want to see them things. You understand? That is why, of course, they're going to say the laws done away with. Word up, Sasha.
Verse
26?
Verse 26.
Yeah, well.
Verse 26. But unto the damsel thou shalt not do nothing.
But unto who?
But unto the damsel thou shalt not do nothing.
But unto the woman or the young lady or the damsel that was raped, you're not supposed to be doing her nothing. She's not to be stoned to death or put to death, whatever the case might be. You understand? In a situation like that, brothers or sisters, even out of the truth, you understand? Well, in the truth, that ain't going to happen. You understand? But out of the truth, brothers and sisters who you might know, who might get raped, you understand? Or sisters who know that they have gotten raped, they could call the I.S.U.P.K and get counseling on these matters. You understand? Because this is what we're here for. We're here for our people. You understand? Get counseling on these matters. Have people properly well trained in counseling brothers and sisters. You understand? Generals and captains and so forth and so forth. You understand? Get counsel from these men. Go ahead, Officer Shah.
There is in the damsel no sin.
You understand? Because she was forced. She was taken against her will. So in the damsel, there is no sin. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, again, when we go into the kingdom, there will be no raping of heathen women. There will be no raping at all. Because this is in our law. You understand what I'm saying? This is in the law of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That is the end of 26.
Right, tell us something.
Go ahead.
Worthy of death. For as when a man raiseth against his neighbor.
You understand? So when a man rises against his neighbor, his brother, go ahead.
And he slayeth him.
And kill him, murder him, go ahead.
Even so is this matter.
Just so is if somebody get raped. So when you hear you rape a young lady, you understand? It's like a killer man. You understand? That is what Christ let me know in this law. That is why he say with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're not supposed to be raping. Just like a man will rise up against the next man because he might have some water against him or something and they kill him. You understand? It's the same way if you go and you rape a young lady. If you rape a damsel. You understand? So again, rape is against the Most High. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, this is in our law. We're not supposed to be raping anybody. Not even the heathens. You understand? Which is even more worse. That is it on that, right?
Can.
Alright, from that, I want to show something, right? I want to go showing TV, boy.
So like you said,
yeah, where I'm obsession.
As you say that and all too, right? Just as we was watching like another person say against his neighbor and all too, right?
Right.
So but when we just bring like time, like his brother and all too, right? So they say somebody close and all too, right? So like when you're bringing like them same people and all too, were saying, hey, you could rape and all too. But really, actually, like how the I.S.U.P.K, how we and all this militant spirit and all too. So when you're bringing them thing now, you can't be like how the Christian church or the Christian churches and things say, like how Christ was always that man's and that stone way. So now you gotta be like more personal sometimes with these brothers and them, because like now you gotta tell them, so if say you're saying you could rape, so I could rape your mother, you could rape your sister.
I think as they're saying that something I didn't see with that considering that, and these same fake Israelites was saying that they could rape, and I think was polite on one of them come up to them and ask them, so you was telling me if one of your brother who you stand up here preaching with rape your sister or your daughter or your mother, you just go and lead them? They can't even answer. Because they know it's wrong. You understand what I'm saying? They know it's wrong. You understand what I'm saying? But of course, when you're not being raised right, you're not being raised by the right people, you're not being raised by the man who the Lord put to rule over Israel or to carry Israel, these is the kind of things going to happen. You understand? You're going to rape, you're going to say you can marry heathen. Heathen could come into the kingdom, heathen could come into the congregation and all these different things. Heathen could celebrate the Passover. You understand? And all these high holy days that the Most High gave to Israel. You understand? It's going to have a point whereby all these other nations will be following Israel. That is when Christ returns. You understand? And we are in rulership. We are in that governing body. You understand? Something I want to show you a little bit, right? Leave me alone.
Chinese authority.
Right, with this, it ain't gonna be long, but what's saying with this, right? In a Christian mind, when you watch this, you understand? Two things gonna happen. When I say two things gonna happen, no, you're gonna start to believe it's true. You understand? Because of course the Christian church misleading the people 1,000 miles. So now you're going to believe it's true, or you're going to say, you're going to love the Chinese more. Because then what you're going to try to find is the perpetrator or the person who do that. You understand? And when you find them, you're going to feel, well, boy, they're trying to brainwash the Chinese. You understand what I'm saying? They're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. When that is not so. Hold for me the book of Psalms chapter 83, right? Hold for me the book of Psalms chapter 83. Right? So now it's either you love the Chinese more because you're feeling people trying to brainwash the Chinese, or you're going to hate your people more, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? Because now you want to believe everything that coming out of the oppressor mouth. That is what I'm saying. When Christ tells us, be therefore perfect, you understand? We know how to try our best in keeping these laws, commandments, and statutes. We know how to make sure we follow what the Most High said. The Most High said he's going to send us a prophet, one from among our people. We have the I.S.U.P.K here to guide us, you understand, into understanding back our culture, our laws, our history, what we need to follow. We must understand also that these other nations, they cannot teach us nothing. You understand what I'm saying? They cannot teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their history or their Bible. You understand? But a Christian mind seeing this, they're going to fall for what the oppressor have to say. They're going to fall to what the Chinese have to say and even love them more. And I was saying this was so hard. It makes sense at all, but in a hidden mind, it might fall different. You understand?
Chinese authorities have changed the ending of a Bible story. The story claims Jesus is a sinner and even that he killed a woman. This as China is expected to renew a deal with the Vatican. NTD's Juliet Song has more on that.
China and the Vatican are reportedly about to renew a historic deal. That's as a Chinese textbook has been found to paint Jesus as a murderer. In the original Bible story, a woman was about to be stoned for committing adultery, but Jesus stepped in, pardoning her sin and letting her go. But the Chinese textbook describes a different ending. It says when the crowd receded, Jesus stoned the woman to death, saying, "I too am a sinner, but if the law could only be executed by men without blemish, the law would be dead." The textbook is used by vocational school students. It teaches professional ethics and law and has been approved by a review committee under China's education ministry. The discovery comes as the Chinese regime and the Vatican are reportedly about to extend the deal. It was signed 2 years ago and allows both Beijing and the Pope to appoint bishops in China. China is home to about 12 million Catholics. They're split into two groups, state-run and underground. Pastors in the country's state-run associations are appointed by the communist regime. State-run associations reject the Pope's authority, while underground Catholics recognize it and are often persecuted for it. But under the deal, the Pope has final say about the appointment of bishops in China and is recognized as the leader of the church. After it was signed, the Pope also recognized 7 clergies previously ordained by the communist regime. Some conservative critics consider the approval a sellout to the communist regime. The deal is about to expire next month, and U.S. is calling the Vatican to abandon it. In an editorial, Pompeo wrote that human rights conditions for religious believers have deteriorated amid the deal. He said,
right, so I will stop there. Because the rest isn't making sense, you understand? But what I'm getting at, what I'm saying is, they're saying, you understand, that in these Chinese texts, or whatever the case might be, they're painting Jesus as the one who stoned the woman in adultery, whatever the case might be, boom, boom, boom. You understand? But of course, that is just for our people to love the Chinese even more. Because of course, you hearing that, you going to feel sorry for the Chinese and feel, well, but they're trying to tap the Chinese. Who's the people doing this? When you find these people doing that, you feeling now, well, everybody is one. You understand? When the Roman Catholic Church is against Christ. You understand? The Roman Catholic Church is against Christ's people. The Chinese is against Christ's people. You understand what I'm saying? So they could teach their people what they want. What is most important for us blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is we teaching our people, you understand, to come back and keep the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. And don't get tied up with these Chinese and these other nations with their Jesus and Jesus philosophy, because the Jesus that they portray is a white homosexual. Our king, Yahawashi, he's a black king. You understand? He is our big brother. That's how we go put it. But he's most predominantly he's our king, Christ, Yahawashi in the Hebrew. You understand? Let they teach their people what they want. You see, the other saying the Vatican is how much Catholic priests are just ordained in China. Let them do what they want to do. They are totally against Christ and they are totally against the Most High's chosen people. Give me Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1. Right? Then we'll go back to John chapter 1, 8 and verse 1. Right? Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1.
Psalm chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silent, O Most High.
Go ahead.
Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High.
You understand? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
You understand? For lo, thy enemies make a gathering. You understand? You're going to find out who is Christ's enemies. He's going to find out who David was praying to the Most, what David was praying to the Most High about. You understand? The Most High have enemies. And his enemies was making a gathering. They're making a tumult. You understand? Go ahead.
And they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
And they that what?
And they that hate thee
no, they
have
that
lifted
love,
up
they
their
that
head.
love Christ.
They that hate thee have lifted up their head.
You understand? And they that hate Christ, you saw the covenant saying that Christ, they're saying Christ stoned the woman in adultery. They that hate Christ, hate thee, they have begun to be proud. They have lifted up their head. You understand? That is why now they could say, that is why now and even back then they could say all manner of evil against Christ. You understand? But what you need to know, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, this Bible, this Holy Bible, this King James Version Bible is only for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is only for you. This is your book. This book is not for no Chinese, which is the so-called Ammonites in the Bible, no Salakia. The Chinese, which is in the Bible, the Ammonites, which is the Japanese, the Edom, which is the so-called white man, Elam, which is the East Indians. This Bible is not for them. They have their role in this book. But what you need to know, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, is what role that they play in this book. You understand? And when you begin to do your little research, your little reading, you're going to realize that you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you was under their hands in captivity time and time again, under the hands of these other nations, just like we are today. You understand? Go ahead, Officer Shah.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel.
You understand? So now, they have taken crafty counsel, not just counsel, crafty counsel. They look for all the ways, all the evil ways to go against the Most High, to go against the Most High people. They that hate, they have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel. But who is these people that hate the Most High? Who is these people that hate Christ? Who is these people that taken crafty counsel? Go ahead.
Against thy people.
Who is the people that have taken crafty counsel against the people of the Most High? Thy people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Who is these people? Go ahead.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And they have consulted against thy hidden ones. The hidden ones, meaning us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because nobody don't know who we are. We are the ones that are hidden. You understand? Nobody don't know who's the true Jews. Nobody don't know the Hebrew Israelites. When you read in the Bible, you hear people talking about spiritual Israelites. We are the hidden ones. Go ahead.
They have said.
They have what?
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
So these people taking crafty counsel, they come together and say, hey, you know what we need to do? Let me cut off these so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Let me cut off the real Jews. Let me cut off these Hebrew Israelites who supposed to be above all nations upon the face of the earth. Let me cut off God's chosen people from being a nation. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of what?
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel, Yashala in the Hebrew, go ahead.
May be no more in remembrance.
Nobody ain't going to know who they are. That is what these people did. They come together because they hate the Most High, they hate Christ, and they say, let me cut off Christ's nation. Let me cut off Christ, the Most High people, Salakia, so that nobody will know who there is no more. You understand? But who is these people? Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have what?
They have consulted together with one consent.
These people come and consult together with one consent, one mind. You understand? They come up, whatever idea they come with, all of them agree and say, yeah, let me come together and let me do this. Go ahead.
They are confederates against thee. Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom, which is the so-called white man, Esau in the Bible, Edom. Go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the so-called Arabs. Who's the Ishmaelites? Go ahead.
Of Moab.
Of who?
Of Moab. And the Hagarenes.
Chinese and the Africans. Go ahead.
Gebal and Ammon.
You understand? And even the Chinese, the Slakia, the Japanese, the Chinese and the Japanese, the so-called white man, you understand? The Arabs, all them come together to conspire with crafty counsel. You understand? That your name, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, your nation, it will be no more in remembrance. So when you come and you hear the talking about with Christ here and saying that Christ sent away the people them, but he stoned the woman to death, you will understand, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, that these other nations, they have no intentions of loving the Most High. They have no intentions of loving you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Because if they don't like your king, it's obviously they ain't go like you. You understand what I'm showing you? These people come together and taking crafty counsel so that you wouldn't know who you is. You understand? These other nations, that is why when Christ return, these other nations are going to do what? Feel the pinch. When Christ say, prepare slaughter for the children, just paraphrasing, for the iniquity of their fathers, for the things that these other nations, for what their forefathers have done. You understand? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You understand? These other nations done things to you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that you can't even, that the young ones coming up now, once they don't know the history, they wouldn't even imagine that happen. You understand? The ones coming up now, once they don't know the history, don't even know that they are the Lord's chosen people. That is why we have to go out on the streets and keep these classes to continually remind our people or let our people know who they are. You understand? Go ahead, Officer Sasha.
I guess I didn't believe. Is that what that was going through tonight? And I was like, wait, that was shocking day. We'll come out with the same day.
You understand? And when you hear you watch, because you're right over saying it to her, because when you hear watch the grill with the general, you understand? And you start to see certain things that he bring out, you understand really and truly in all this melee, when I say in all this melee, in all this melting pot, and Christmas around the corner, and all these different things happening, you watching brothers and sisters, you watching brothers slap here, officers and captains teaching classes and things, you will know these other nations not for us. You understand? You will know for a fact these other nations, they're not for us. It's only because of the Christian church, you understand, and these evil and wicked religious leaders and politicians, that how you feeling, everything is going to be okay, everything is all right. Christ loves everybody. You understand? The Bible is for everybody. Anybody could teach you the Bible when that is not so. You understand what I'm showing you? Again, the Bible is for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians only. These is your records. These records will show you what the other nations have done to you, what the other races have done to you. These records will show what role these other nations fit in the Bible. These records will show you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, to come out of all these oppression, to come out under the foot of our enemies, what you need to do. You understand? To come out from that, right? I see the time kind of creeping up on me. We're saying there, Officer Sasha, go ahead.
So like I said, when you really check like what they now say, right, it's like something like you see like what they do with the beginning of the year, from what they like more or less they move the year from, and it was April, and then after they come with April Fools, after some years go by, so they know like as long as they're in power, as they say, they will push that. So the same thing happened with King James, right? So at the time now, right, and after years goes by now, so it's like a certain amount of people, generation go on, so now this generation, they done put in an agenda now, so they go come and say, King James is a homosexual now, so after that generation gone, nothing different now, so this generation pushing that, same thing now come with Christ now,
right.
So that, and if you say they know that Christ was a black man now, so they come with seizure boards, say that this man is Christ now agenda, so now, when they push this agenda, when they're coming out to push this agenda now, they really and truly more or less not for this generation yet to defend it, but this for this generation go move out now, and now to say that hey, look Christ kill the woman, Christ is a sinner. So when I push that in another generation to move away for again now for black people again to move away from Christ again.
You're very well correct what you're saying, and that is the same thing. Like just paraphrasing the scripture where the heathens paint the images of the judges, they change the faces of the judges thereof. So now after generation, what will happen? We thinking Christ white, the angels white, God white, you understand? And all these prophets white, you understand what I'm saying? But when you actually go into the scriptures and really realizing Christ black, the prophets black, you understand? The angels black.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But this is how these heathen nations attacking Israel from a long time. You understand? And in the Christian church, you ain't going to learn what you're learning here in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. You understand? You're in the Christian church, you're just going to walk out a homosexual. loving every nation, loving every people, doing interracial marriages, you understand? And all manner of sin against the Most High. You understand? I see the time creep up on us. I was going to the story with the woman with adultery, right? But if next week, please God, we could go in woman with adultery, or if another brother take over the class, we will continue this class with the woman going into adultery. You understand? For you to understand that Christ didn't stone the woman in adultery. You understand? What these other nations bringing, they just bringing more destruction to the minds of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians if we pay heed to them. You understand? What we need to pay heed to is the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, right? So give me two more scriptures. Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23, right? And Psalm chapter 119 verse 105, and we will close up the class with that, right? Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23.
Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the commandment is a lamp.
Yes, now hold on, start from verse 20, Salakia. Yeah, Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 20.
Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 20. My son, keep thy father's commandments.
You understand? Keep the commandments that the Most High laid out for us. Go ahead.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. Bind them continually upon thy heart, and tie them about thy neck.
Go ahead.
Verse 22. It shall lead thee.
It shall what?
It shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee.
Go ahead.
And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. Verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp.
For it is a what?
For the commandment is a lamp.
For the commandment is a lamp. You understand? And if you really watch how a lamp this function, what a lamp does do? A lamp does shine light. You understand? A lamp in any darkness, you put on a lamp will shine light where you could see where to walk, where it will show you that path that you're supposed to do, supposed to go to. You understand? The laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, that is a lamp. The commandments is a lamp. It is a guide for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in any dark situation in any evil that in. You understand? You start understanding the laws, commandments, and statutes. That will be that lamp, that light that you should follow to come out. You understand? Of that sinful life that you may be in. You understand? Go ahead.
And the law is light.
And the law is what?
And the law is light.
Go ahead.
And the reproof of instruction are the way of life.
You understand? And the reproof of instructions is the way of life. The laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High, this is life. This is what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are supposed to be following. You understand? This is what the Christian church and the heathens and all these other nations that is against Christ, against the children of Israel, against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This law is what they are against. They are against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians coming back and keeping what the Most High gave to them. What he gave unto Moses and Moses gave unto them. You understand what I'm showing you? These other nations don't want you to keep these laws. That is why they will come up with all kind of holidays, all kind of celebrations, even new ones they start popping up with. You understand? Start pumping all manner of doctrines and philosophies on the TV, on the internet, on YouTube. You understand what I'm saying? For you to feel that this is a melting pot with all the other nations, for you to feel that you're supposed to follow the other nations. You understand? When that is not so, you're supposed to be following your people. You're supposed to be following your people that following after righteousness, that following after what Christ laid out for us to follow. You understand? And when we follow after these things, we're going to be in right standing with the Most High. Because why? Of course, you'll be keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. Give me Psalms 119, verse 105, and we go lock up there.
Psalms 119.
Yeah, 105.
Psalms 119, verse 105.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thy words is a lamp.
Thy what?
Thy words is a lamp unto my feet.
Go ahead.
And a light unto my path.
You understand? So the words of the Most High, the laws of the Most High is a light unto your feet. And what?
And a light unto my path.
Salakia, and a light unto my path. You understand? Again, blacks, that isn't that, right? Yeah, again, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. This is what you're supposed to be following, opposed to whatever the religious leaders may be saying, the Christian church may be saying. You understand? The RI teacher may be saying, or grandmother or grandfather may be saying. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you are to keep the laws of the Most High. This is the light, this is life, this is your guide. You understand? And with that, I'll pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shah.
Security announcement where the I.S.U.P.K out of 120 Street, Harlem, New York, under command of Gen.YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After the 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in Hebrew alongside my shara. 10% of every penny and increase the Lord gives you. Give to your treasury department or teacher priest fund. Fuel offering for priests, non-mandatory, whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. The Feast of Dedication, also known as Hanukkah. The 25th day of the 9th month. By the space of 8 days, that will be Wednesday, December 9th, in space of 8 days, 2020. You can find this in 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52 to verse 61. Mind your actions and aquations to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black clothes, like shirt, like pants, like headband with that, or scarf. With that, we say, imagine, sir. When I say Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabashamayo, Kodash, Aya, Tamka, Yahweh, Alakwaka, Taba'a, Adazaka, Aya, Aisha, Arataza, Kawa, Aya, Bashamayo, Natan, Lanawa, Akam, Ka, Yawam, Wasalakno, Abawakino, Wasalakino, Abawakino, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Wasawan, Bal, Hoshaino, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Walakwa, Wa'ala, Watapara, Wainomium, Aman.
What we just said in English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
You're going to see the blessings in Hebrew. Barak, Atah, Yahweh, Waya, Yahushai, Wa Makala, Lahayam, Matazabia, Wapiahana, Wapiam, Asaranyam, Hakwatazal Yanyam, Hakwat Yanyam, Hakwat Yaliam, Agwatiam, Yahweh, Basham, Oshai, Tawadaman.
What you just said in English, bless you, Yahweh,
bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahushua, and Michael, and the angel, commanding general, the general, the captain, the officer, the trooper, and the sister, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you.
So be it. You're going to say the Hakat in Hebrew? Yahweh, Basham, Oshai, Okasha, Latan Nawa, Akat, Apara, Wakala, Madawan, Akat, Ataha, Amatazarium, Akat, La Quayam, Amatayam, Akat, Iwakawat, Atamala, Agarishim, Basham, Oshai, Tawadaman.
What you just said in English, Yahweh, name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the leper. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. Name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. What you're going to say is the prayer of the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. All things living. Yahweh. Name of Yahushua. Listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. That speak against us. Like prophets. The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. And the school. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. And shake loose. The treasure of the rich. Of Israel. That refuse to give to the school, force their riches, enter into thy sanctuary, send evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nation, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, fuzzy komatazi, gay movement, lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet, and the airwaves, cable access channels, and the radio channel, convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way, or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth, and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucer and punish all the heathen that come up against us. And speak thy word, cause it to be known by all. That is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread throughout the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy command. Name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
You go see the blessed Israel. Yahweh. Basham. Yahushai. Barak Washarala. Wahabayat, Saparium, Barak,
Magan, Commanding General Yana, the General, Captain, the Officer, the Trooper, Sisters, Children, all the destroyed of Israel, Kayalwana, Barak Napash, Shariah, Indian family, Osalan family, Koto family, Philip family.
Brothers and sisters in I.S.U.P.K.
Brothers and sisters find coming to the truth.
Children and babies in the I.S.U.P.K. Francois family. Wrong family. Zion. Wesleyan. Daniela. Jamilia. Ashida. Chantel. Nima. Khadija. Shusha. Myelin. Angel. Basham. Oshai. Tawadaman.
what we just said in English. Lord,
Lord,
in the name of Yahushua,
in the name of Yahushua,
bless us,
bless us,
and Israel,
and Israel,
and the school,
and the school,
bless,
and bless,
heal,
heal,
shield,
shield,
protect,
protect,
love one,
our loved one,
name of
in the
Yahushua.
name of Yahushua.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. Sir, let's get a teacher one clear salute. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yosai Brakata.
Yahweh Hashem Yosai Brakata.
Yadimata. Let's get sisters and knowing one clear salute. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Barak.
Yahweh Shemai Latan Hashem Yosai.
Yahweh Shemai Latan Hashem Yosai. Yadimata. Class is